If you've ever had a moment where you looked around at your life and thought, I'm doing everything right, I'm checking all the boxes, but why do I feel so exhausted? Then I want you to know this episode is for you because today we're talking about a kind of burnout that doesn't always look dramatic from the outside, but it slowly erodes your joy, your clarity, and your confidence. It's that quiet, relentless fatigue, the to-do list that keeps growing no matter how productive you are, that low-key dread you feel when your calendar is full but your soul feels empty. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. This episode is for the woman who is tired of chasing productivity just to prove her worth. The woman who's wondering if she'll ever feel rested, focused, or creatively alive again. The woman who's realizing that maybe, just maybe, it's time to redefine who she is, what she wants, and what it means to be successful. Welcome to How to Lose the Weight, the podcast for women ready to stop waiting for someday and live life now. I'm your host, Holly Toscanini, and I'm here to help you break free from perfectionism, self-doubt, and the someday mindset. Together, we'll dive into real conversations about self-trust, empowerment, and living authentically. If you're ready to reconnect with your intuition and step into your power, you're in the right place. Let's lose the weight and start living fully right now. Hey friends, welcome back to How to Lose the Weight. I'm your host, Holly Toscanini, and as always, I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm sharing what I've learned about burnout, not just from coaching hundreds of intuitive midlife women, but from my own story. I'll walk you through why burnout happens even when we're doing everything right, and how to shift from hustle-based productivity into something I call intuitive productivity, a rhythm that honors your energy, your season of life, and your inner truth. In this episode, you'll learn why burnout is more than stress and how to spot the hidden symptoms. You'll learn what intuitive productivity looks like in real life and the key questions I ask my clients to help them reclaim their energy and focus. Plus, you'll get some practical tools to help you reset today and build momentum without burning out tomorrow. And I'll also share how you can go deeper with me through my Intuitive Pivot Planner, my mini course, the Midlife Reinvention Map, and my signature group program, the Reinvention Code, which is coming soon and will be absolutely life-changing. So, if you've been wondering how to do less, live more, and finally feel aligned with the woman you're becoming, take a deep breath and relax. You're in the right place. So, what's really behind burnout? Let's talk about the real reason so many women, especially those of us in midlife, feel burned out. And no, it's not because you're disorganized. It's not because you haven't figured out the right planner or productivity app. And it's definitely not because you're lazy or unmotivated. Let's just get that out of the way. You're burned out because you've spent decades measuring your worth by how useful, available, and productive you are. You've been praised for being efficient. You've been rewarded for being selfless. And you've been conditioned to believe that your value comes from how much you do, how many people you take care of, and how little you ask for yourself. That's not productivity. That's performing for approval, and it's exhausting. This is burnout. And it's not a personal failure. It's a survival response. You see, burnout is emotional, not just physical. It isn't just about being too busy. It's about being busy with things that are misaligned, unfulfilling, or unsustainable. It's the weight of constantly doing things you never actually choose, of pushing through when your body whispers, please slow down, of staying in roles, routines, or relationships that don't nourish you because it's easier to keep going than it is to disappoint somebody else or everybody else. It's what happens when you override your intuition for too long. And the cruel irony? You've probably been told you're amazing at keeping it all together, that you're the one everyone else relies on, that you're strong, capable, dependable. But inside, you might feel like you're kind of unraveling. See, there are 3 core drivers of burnout that I see over and over again with my clients. And the first is hustle culture. We live in a world that glorifies urgency. We're told that if you're not moving fast, you're falling behind. And that rest is indulgent and that slowing down is failure. So you keep grinding even when your soul is screaming for stillness. Next is the good girl conditioning. Now, I wrote about this in another episode. From the time we're little girls, we're rewarded for being polite, agreeable, and helpful. We're taught to anticipate others' needs, to be accommodating, and never, ever rock the boat. So we became women who say yes when we want to say no. Women who feel guilty for resting, and women who measure their value by how small we can make ourselves. And then number 3 is unspoken shame. And this one is a little sneaky. There's a hidden shame that creeps in when you feel like you should be happy. You have a good life. I mean, you've checked all the boxes, right? So why do you feel so empty? Here's the truth. Feeling burned out in life, especially in a life you built on autopilot, is not failure. It's actually a wake-up call. It means your body, your heart, and your spirit are calling you back into alignment. So I want you to know, if this feels like you're not alone. If you've ever woken up already tired, if you've needed caffeine to push through that afternoon slump, if you feel resentful about your schedule, if you've forgotten what lights you up because you're so focused on what needs to get done, I want you to hear this. You're not weak, and you're not doing life wrong. You're responding perfectly to a system that was never built for your well-being in the first place. The answer isn't doing more, it's doing differently. And that's what intuitive productivity is all about, not pushing harder, but aligning deeper. Now, I want to pause here and get just a little more personal with you because this episode isn't just about what I've seen in my coaching clients or the research I've read. It's about what I've lived. I know burnout intimately, not the dramatic crash and burn kind, but the slow drip version. The kind that creeps in quietly, camouflaged as ambition and responsibility. The kind you can still function through until one day you realize you're just going through the motions. There was a season in my life where I was doing everything, working multiple jobs, building my coaching business, navigating a divorce, showing up for my friends, and trying to grow an online presence, all while coming to terms with my own body image struggles, menopause, and the pressure to have it all together. And from the outside, I looked like I had it under control. But on the inside, I was running on fumes. I was waking up tired. I was working through meals. I was pushing past my body's needs because there just wasn't time. I was saying yes when I meant no because I didn't want to disappoint anybody. And I thought if I just worked a little harder, if I just pushed myself a little more, if I just found the right strategy, if I could finally catch up, then I'd feel better. And then I could rest. And then I could be proud of myself. But rest just keep getting pushed further down the to-do list. Joy felt like a luxury, and creativity, I didn't even remember what that felt like anymore. And one day, I was recording a podcast episode, and I found myself re-recording the same section over and over again. Not because I messed up, but because I was terrified it didn't sound perfect. That somebody might think I wasn't professional enough, or that I didn't sound polished enough, or that I wasn't expert enough. And that's when it hit me. I was outsourcing my power to the invisible judges I had in my head. I was abandoning my intuition in service of perfection. I had turned my creativity into a performance, my gifts into a checklist, and my calling into a chore. And I realized I didn't need better time management. I needed a new definition of success. So I started experimenting. Instead of starting my day with a to-do list, I asked myself, what really actually matters to me today? What feels aligned? And where is my energy naturally leading me? I started letting my intuition lead me, not my guilt. And something beautiful happened. I got less done, but the things I did felt meaningful. I felt more presence. I felt more present. I felt more alive, more like myself. I started setting boundaries I never thought I could. I started saying no without over-explaining. And I started creating from a place of truth, not performance. And that's when I started attracting clients who were craving the same thing. Not another hustle plan, but a way to live that honored their intuition, their energy, and their season of life. And that's how I knew. This isn't just about burnout recovery. It's about liberation. So if you're listening right now and thinking, God, that sounds like me, please hear this. You're allowed to stop performing. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to redefine what success means to you. You don't have to earn your worth through exhaustion. You don't have to keep proving yourself to the people who just don't get it. There is a different way to be in this world, and it starts with listening inward and trusting what you hear. Now that we've named the problem, let's talk a little bit about the solution, one that's helped me and so many of the women I coach, shifting from exhaustion to alignment, and it's called intuitive productivity. Now, I know that phrase might sound like a contradiction. You've probably been taught that productivity is about time blocks, tasks, lists, deadlines, hustle, and structure. And intuition, well, that's about flow and energy and creativity and emotion, right? So how can those two things coexist? Because productivity doesn't have to mean pressure. It can mean purpose. It can mean moving through your day with clarity and calm. It can mean doing less and creating more impact. Now, here's how I define it. Intuitive productivity is the art of aligning your energy, attention, and actions with what matters most in a way that honors your rhythm, your season of life, and your soul's truth. Powerful, right? It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things, the ones that are true to who you are and where you're going. When you shift from chasing productivity for validation or practicing productivity for alignment, everything changes. You stop measuring your day by how much you did and start measuring it by how you felt doing it. You stop trying to keep up and you start tuning in. You stop proving and start creating. So let's take just a minute and compare the two. So we're going to compare what the traditional model of productivity looks like, which I'm calling hustle productivity, and how intuitive productivity kind of flips that on its head. So under hustle productivity, there are rigid schedules and external pressure. Under intuitive productivity, there's a more fluid structure guided by your inner wisdom. Hustle productivity, outcome obsessed. Intuitive productivity is process aware and joy focus. Hustle productivity is should driven. Intuitive productivity is soul driven. With hustle productivity, there's a fear of falling behind, while when you practice intuitive productivity, trust that timing is personal and divine. Hustle is exhaustion, and it's using it as a badge of honor. With intuitive productivity, stress is strategic and sacred. You see, hustle culture says more is better. Intuitive productivity said alignment is better. Hustle culture says don't stop. Your intuition and intuitive productivity says pause here, go there, let this go. Let's be honest. This is especially important for those of us in midlife because midlife changes everything. Your energy isn't the same. Maybe your values are shifting. You and your body are definitely wiser. And maybe you just don't have the bandwidth or desire to keep playing by the rules that never really worked for you in the first place. See, intuitive productivity is the midlife woman's superpower because it honors your body's rhythm and energetic cycles. It builds confidence through small, intentional actions. It creates space for creativity, healing, and yes, pleasure. And it respects your need for rest and depth, not just constant doing. See, this way of living allows you to redefine success on your own terms, not based on what the world expects of you, but on what actually feels meaningful and sustainable. And the best part, you don't need to burn it all down to start over. You can begin practicing intuitive productivity today, right where you are. So I want to take just a minute and share with you what happens when a woman stops trying to live by this kind of broken blueprint and starts designing a life that actually fits her. We're going to talk about some practical ways to begin practicing intuitive productivity in your own life. Because this isn't about theory, it's about transformation. And it begins with that one small, courageous step. So, remember, you don't need to overhaul your schedule overnight. You don't need to escape to Bali or go on a silent retreat to start living in alignment. This is about those small, doable shifts that make a big difference over time. I want to start with ditching your should list. I am a big shoulder. It's one of my favorite words, and I think I should be in recovery for it, but most of us carry a long, invisible list of shoulds. I should get up earlier. My favorite one, I should exercise. I should eat better. I should take that project. I should say yes to that thing I don't want to do. The shoulds sound responsible, but they're often rooted in guilt, fear, and the need to please. And they disconnect you from your own desires, values, and rhythm. So here is your first invitation. I want you to take 5 minutes and write down everything you feel like you should be doing this week. Then I want you to ask yourself, who says I should? Who says I have to do this? Is this mine, or did I inherit this expectation from somebody else? Does this should actually align with the way I want to live and the life I want to create? You might be surprised how much you can lovingly release, how much you can just let go of what drains you so you can create space for what sustains you. So the first thing I want you to do this week, write down your should list and then ask yourself, where did these come from? Next, I want you to tune into energy, not urgency. Now, this one's a game changer. Instead of asking what needs to be done, try asking, what do I actually have the energy for today? See, your body carries deep wisdom, and some days you'll feel focused and fired up, and other days you'll need gentleness and rest. Productivity, the kind I'm talking about, intuitive productivity, really honors both. You can still meet your goals, but without forcing or overriding your natural rhythms. So try this. Each morning, start with a quick body and energy scan. Feel in your body, where do you have the energy and where do you need the rest? And ask, where is my energy high today? What feels light or exciting? And what feels heavy or forced? And then plan your most important or creative work during your natural energy peaks. Allow for recovery time after output, and even if the dishes still need doing, it's okay if you take a break. Trust me, you're going to get more done, not by doing more, but doing better. And 3, I want to use the 3-point pivot. This is one of my favorite daily alignment tools. It's really just a mini check-in that I often use with my clients. And you can do the 3-point pivot by asking yourself, 1, what do I need right now? Is there an emotional need, a spiritual, a physical need? Something as simple as water or maybe a deeper connection. What do I need right now? Number 2, what matters most today? Not the most urgent, the most meaningful. That's the one thing that if you complete it, it would make you feel really anchored. And 3, ask yourself, where can I pause, delegate, or just say no? And this is about reclaiming your power to edit your day to your own time and energy. So remember, ask, what do I need right now? Ask what matters most today, and where can I pause, delegate, or say no? This 3-point pivot helps you create aligned action instead of mindless activity. It really puts you back in the driver's seat of your own life. Then I want you to redefine your wins. Let's shift the success metric completely. Instead of asking, did I get everything done? Try asking, did I honor myself today? Did I listen to my body? Did I move toward the life I want to live? A win might mean taking a nap. A win might mean going for a run or writing a messy first draft. A win might be choosing not to respond to that energy-draining group text. Or your win might be doing nothing and feeling completely at peace about it. See, you get to decide what success means. And when success aligns with your truth, your actions become naturally more effective and enjoyable. Now, I know these practices might feel simple, but don't let that fool you. They are radical in a world that worships stress, overwork, and perfection. Every time you listen inward, choose ease, and protect your energy, you're reclaiming your power. This is how real transformation begins, not in a 12 or 14-hour workday, but in the quiet moment when you choose you, even just a little bit more than you did yesterday. Now, I want to share some words of encouragement to help you really anchor into that truth and begin trusting your intuition as the wise, steady guide it truly is. as we wrap up today, I want to speak directly to your heart. Because if you're standing on the edge of burnout, or if you've already crossed that invisible line, this next part is especially for you. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling tired. There is nothing wrong with craving more rest, more ease, or more joy. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to live in a way that feels aligned with your truth instead of everyone else's expectations. You are not lazy. You are not unmotivated. You are awake. You are waking up to the truth that life doesn't have to be lived in constant motion, that you don't have to earn your worth by proving how productive you can be, that rest, joy, slowness, creativity, and choice are not rewards. They're your birthright. And yes, stepping off the hamster wheel can feel scary. Saying no can feel awkward. And slowing down might stir up some guilt. That's normal. You're unlearning decades of programming. You're building a new relationship with time, with energy, and with your own voice. And that process, my friend, is sacred. Your intuition is your strongest ally in navigating change. It won't always shout. It might come through as a whisper, a nudge, a tiny knowing that says, not this, but maybe that. Not yet, but soon. Pause here, go there. Even when you feel uncertain, even when you're in the messy middle, your intuition hasn't left you. It's been waiting for you to listen. So here's what I want you to know. You don't need all the answers to move forward. You don't need a 5-year plan to pivot. And you don't need anyone else's permission to live in alignment. You already have what you need. You are already enough. And the life you're craving, it starts the moment you decide to trust yourself. You are the permission. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I know how full your life is, and I know how precious your energy is. And the fact that you've chosen to listen, reflect, and stay present with yourself really means something. It means you're already practicing intuitive productivity right now. Now, this episode really wasn't just a conversation. It was a reclaiming, a remembering, a gentle nudge back to the truth that you are allowed to live differently and feel better doing it. And if this message resonated, if something inside you stirred while listening, I have something that can help you take this even further. Head to my website and download your free Intuitive Pivot Planner, 3 Steps to Reinvent Yourself. It is a beautifully designed guide to help you reconnect with your desires, discover what's no longer aligned, and begin making intuitive choices without overwhelm or second guessing. Think of it as a reset for your spirit, your focus, and your next chapter. You'll also find the link in the show notes. And if you're ready to take your transformation even deeper, I created a companion mini course just for you, and it's called the Midlife Reinvention Map. You'll get a short but powerful video lesson, a printable workbook, and 3 amazing bonuses. You're going to get the 24-hour confidence challenge, the next chapter manifesto template, and yes, your permission slip to show up messy. This is perfect if you're ready to stop waiting and start rebuilding your life from a place of alignment, not exhaustion. All of these things are available to you right now. No pressure, just support that honors your pace. And if this episode gave you a new perspective or a moment of clarity, I'd like you to take a second to leave a quick review, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this episode with another intuitive, heart-let woman who needs this message. You can connect with me over at Instagram at Holly Toscanini or on my Facebook page and tag me with your biggest takeaway. I love hearing from you, and it helps me keep creating content that meets you exactly where you are. Next, I want to remind you that next week is going to be a juicy episode. We are going to dive into something I hear every single week from women just like you, and it's the confidence trap, why you don't need to feel ready to act boldly. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, remember this. You don't need to do more to be more. You are already enough. And your next chapter, it starts with trusting yourself. You've got this. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to How to Lose the Weight. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. And if you found value in this episode, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It really helps the show reach more women like you who are ready to step into their power. For more insights and inspiration, follow me on Instagram at Holly Toscanini or visit hollytoscanini.com. Until next time, remember, stop waiting and start living.